Good afternoon. It is now 3 p.m. I will call the special selectmen meeting to order. All three selectmen are present. And we'll move back into our budget workshop. Thought that if it's okay, if you and Ken, if you and Suzanne are in agreement, I thought we would just jump back into capital request where we left off last night.
Sure, go
Sounds
ahead.
good to me.
Okay, so as I stated yesterday, there were several requests that were submitted, and then we received a couple from Recreation last minute. Again, to review, we had the loader for the Public Works Department. This was a quote that Joe received. Roadwork and paving estimated at 578,000. The paving of the town hall parking lot. A roof project at the highway garage. The 9-ton Freightliner with the Henke plow. Capital improvement program at the library, and the MS4 retrofit construction work. And then the two from Recreation that we have to consider, one was from the Little League. There were 3 items for this year for the budget that they were going to request. One was the Charlton Field.
Thursday or Friday.
That was $2,240. Then the Rawson Field to slice, seed the field. That was $1,200. And then the Barren Field, they estimated to repair the infield of $7,750. So the total of their request was $11,190. And the last request from Recreation was for the Bull Hill Fields. I can't even say that. The Bull Hill Fields, the recreation area. And they're requesting $100,000. So, thoughts?
Hey, Amy.
Yep.
In that list, did I see the 2 items from the school?
You know, I put that into maintenance.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Building maintenance. That's where it went last year.
Okay.
I started out putting it as a capital request, but it was technically building maintenance, and so it's in the budget under building maintenance.
Thanks.
Yep. Thoughts from Ken and Suzanne? I mean, I'll just jump right in. I'm not a huge proponent of Bull Hill at this time.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
I'm not a huge fan of adding Bull Hill. I know it's like the albatross. It'd be lovely to have it done, but it's such a huge undertaking. It's such a massive project, and with everything else happening, I mean, if we wanted to do something, maybe we could put 25,000 towards the fund.
March 7th at 11 p.m. Sadie goes to the bus.
Bull Hill has been something that I've been asking for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I just think with everything that we have going on in the track that maybe it's not the right time.
Right.
But I would like for the Board of Finance to be aware that it was
That
there
it's
to
still
begin
there.
with.
It's still there. It's still there and could be utilized for so much more.
It is still there. It can be a vital recreational asset. But when you're looking at 100,000 there or putting $100,000 into the highway garage roofs, I'm going to put it into the highway garage roof first.
Right. Right.
Well,
You know, you can put a token amount there. Maybe that'll cover some good engineering or something of that nature.
Do we know what it was they were looking for the 100,000 for? Was it to start with engineering? Is there any
So-
other funding that we can find for this project? Can we?
Well, that's the request. It says the Bull Hill area recreation, the Bull Hill recreation area is used for Thompson Youth Soccer. The fields have been unusable due to drainage issues. We are asking for 100,000 over 5 years with the goal to fundraise or secure a grant for at least 200,000. This amount is based off of the Yukon study done in 2016. This recreation area offers great opportunity. So.
I mean, I put, put them on radar for it, but in good conscience, I can't put money towards it as much as I'd like.
I kind of
in-
have to,
Building infrastructure has to come first. I mean, we don't have any quotes on the highway garage roof. 100,000 is pretty ambitious. I have a feeling the Board of Finance is gonna probably cut that back. Anyways, maybe, well, I don't know.
I think Ken's right that I mean, I'm not going to compare it to a roof. Because
Right,
I think it's important. It's something that I really wanted. But let's work with the recreation department, form a committee to do some research and come back next year with a solid plan
plan.
and let's do some research on grant funding or other means of funding.
So the
This-
study from Yukon just, Ken, do you remember, was that like the student-led study? Or was
Yes, it
that an
was.
actual formal study?
It was from the engineering team from UConn
Okay,
that said that we need to put drainage under that field in order to move it out, the
right.
water.
Yeah, if we didn't. I mean, I would love to make this a shovel-ready project, but I just don't think we're there yet for this year.
It kills me
I
to
don't
say
either.
that I have to agree.
I think what we can do is we can put it into detail here and put that we've put no money towards that. And that way it's in the notes. Does that seem?
Yeah, I'd put it
Yeah.
off, but leave it up there as a something we'd like to do.
Recreation.
I mean, it still could be used for recreation. The field gets cut, periodically. They can fly kites, they can fly planes, they can walk
I don't know that they
dogs.
can use it because maybe certain times of the year when it's really dry, but my experience with the Twins was you were up to your ankles in water.
Mhm.
But maybe certain times of the year you can.
Dry summers. What do we think about the Little League request? It's the first request they've made in a few years.
What is it for?
For repairs of the Charlton Field, the Rawson Field, and the Barron Field,
Oh, I'm
totaling
sorry, you said that.
11,190. I mean, I'm
I
okay
would-
with it. I'm
I
okay
would
with
keep it
adding
in.
that in. Would you add that one in?
I would.
Okay. How about you, Ken?
Yeah, it's a great complex that we have up there. It's town property.
And it's town property, so,
Let's keep the maintenance going on it.
yep.
I mean, it's changed an awful lot over the years, the things that they need to do. I mean, when I played up there and was part of the Little League, you see that yellow stuff on top of the fence rails now and all kinds of things. We never had that one. They keep changing rules and regulations to make it as safe as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And if Board of Finance, whatever money the Board of Finance puts towards it, it's going to be a big help to them.
Right.
I mean, it covers, the girls and the boys leagues up there.
And that is a usable field. So if we need to do some enhancement to it or maintenance, I think it's something that we have to do. We have to at least put it forward.
All right.
Can you refresh my memory on what the library was asking for?
I think they just wanted to sort of reload. Let me see if I can find my notes from her.
I was just looking to see what I had for notes on that. I thought I had taken notes, but
That's their building fund for maintenance.
Right, it was gonna include potentially the remove,
You
the upgrade to the boiler, another boiler,
you got the heat exchangers up there.
right?
You know, all of that stuff that is in need of repairs and replacement. And it gives them the capital to make those repairs as items come up.
do they have money in that fund that's encumbered from years past?
Bill,
Bill?
They, d-
What's
they
the
do.
balance, Bill?
I'm sorry, Ken, what was that?
What's the balance?
I believe it was at 125, but that was used for the, as the match on the roof grant. So I believe that'll be exhausted.
Match on, okay,
Remember they got, was it a half a
Yeah,
million?
yeah.
On the
We
roof?
did have money for the roof, and we did have their normal operating
Right.
for maintenance. So
separate.
there's two funds.
Okay, I'm talking about the roof fund. I'm not sure about the other fund.
Yeah, I'm talking about the other fund that they use for their maintenance.
Yeah, like it's a library maintenance fund, isn't it?
they have a maintenance account just for general expenditures. If that's what you're talking about. I'm sorry, I was focused on this.
Yeah, and I just wondered what was in that fund.
That's, the-
What's left, what's left in their expense account, Phil?
let me do some
I think
digging.
It's maintenance. The last few years, they've received, I think, 25,000.
I was kind of thinking maybe we could cut that line back to 25,000. We can either put it forward and let the Board of Finance cut it, or we could.
This is above this, what the capital request was above general maintenance, though.
That's what it was. They have that in their general maintenance, right? I have it in front of me, but I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, that's money that they use to, like, when they replace the doors on the front, the boiler. I think we dipped into that when we replaced
Thank
the
you.
HVAC a couple of years ago.
If you remember last year, they had a lot left over in the account that they had encumbered. So we cut back what they requested last year.
Okay, so do we want to change anything?
I'm double checking
Jason?
my math.
They've got quite a laundry list of items that need to get attended to.
I don't disagree there.
And, oh God, it has to be now 2015, 2014, 2015. There was a study done on that whole HVAC system and things that would have to be replaced. I forget who did it. It was an engineering firm. And we do have that back at the in the office.
So in their building repair and maintenance account, and just to be sure we're talking about the right thing, this is under the library / Louis P. Fosher Community Center.
Correct.
The budget was $20,000 year to date. They've spent 11,500 and they've got another 3,000 encumbered. Last year they spent 22,650 and the year before just under 30,000.
Okay.
It looks like this year. New England Mechanical Services, I'm not sure if that's the light project they did. Some Trudeau electric in
That was
here,
the light project for this year, I think.
and then it looks like they had a plumbing problem at some point. Because Trudeau Plumbing's out there too.
Mhm. Ah, that's what I
Did
missed.
we figure out where we ended, what mill rate increase we were at,
Just-
after yesterday?
Just under 1.5.
Just under 1.5.
Yeah, it was 1.49.
So that's a little over $100,000 increase. Or right around, right? To
One-
our, bu-
1 million.
Yeah. that's
1
just-
million.
Just over a
Sorry.
million, right?
Sorry, I said 100,000, I meant a million. Wow.
How much was the library asking for?
For their work, for for capital, 50,000.
What did we have in last year's budget for road work and paving?
435,000.
So we're at an increase of 178,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
With inflation and costs, that's not
No.
unreasonable.
No, you're right.
In the past, Bill, how much do we keep putting into that account?
Into paving.
No, the library maintenance or, for some reason, I thought it was in a transfer account like the like for the roof and that. But I may be wrong.
Let me take a look.
Why don't we come back to this if we don't have any significant cuts that we're, or removals that we're seeing?
Trying to get.
I think these are all worthy projects.
That's what makes
I
it
mean,
hard.
Yeah.
We've gone through the budget and we're in the preventive maintenance and costs that have gone up that we have no control over.
Mhm.
There's no pie in the sky that we're trying to do. And it both, we got lectured at the last referendum town meeting
Mhm.
about not being proactive and maintaining what we have and
Right.
always being reactionary.
You're right, Ken.
And we always put forward what we need, and then it comes down to review by the Board of Finance. And, from there, what the taxpayers are willing to fund.
Yeah.
Why don't we do, I mean, it's a budget of need. It's
This
a budget.
budget is.
It really is. And that's why looking at these projects, not one of them takes priority over another, if you ask me. They're all very important,
I mean, Bull Hill is important, but
very important, but we do
You-
have the track going up right now. We just need to take things in stride.
yeah, and put it off a year and look at it again. But you keep that notation there that this is something we still need to address.
I mean, I'm good with moving these projects forward. We can always
Yeah.
revisit at the end of the day.
Yes, I am too.
But I don't see changing these projects.
Mhm.
I mean, even the payloader on there is a piece of equipment that's needed.
Right,
You know, it comes down to, just like when we were dealing with the roll-off truck. You know, we keep putting it forward, we have the cost. Board of Finance makes the ultimate decision whether or not to put it off for another year, or if we finally buy it.
right.
I agree.
All right.
So-
We can't,
Yep. What were you gonna say, Suzanne?
it's kind of like when we were doing the busing and every year, the school would recommend we buy 2 buses and the town would, or the Board of Finance, or it would get taken out. To the point our fleet was depleted and we were, driving kids on old rusty buses. And it's the same with some of the vehicles that are here. We have to be proactive, as Ken is saying, and do the
Right.
maintenance and put the investment in.
Yep.
Hey, guys, I think I found the library repairs account.
Yeah,
Looks like we put 50,000 in there in 2022, 4,500 for fiscal 2023. 2021, that number doesn't look great. The 2020, 75,000 and 2019, 35,000. Do any of those numbers ring a bell with you guys?
yeah, it's a number
Yeah.
that fluctuates depending
Okay.
on
Okay.
when the Board of Finance is looking to make adjustments.
It depends on what they want to do too.
Yeah, I mean, the 50 is not unreasonable.
What's
for
in
the
that
items
fund
that
right
need to
now?
be-
I don't have that in front of me, Suzanne. Unfortunately, I'm at home.
I'd leave their request where it is.
Oh,
I
yeah.
would too. I would too.
Absolutely. Hey, the good news is they're getting a new roof this year.
That's great news.
So,
Then we'll be good for 50 years, which will be great.
all right. So.
Where does that leave us?
I know we talked about contingency, whether or not to ask for an increase there.
Oh, yes.
I personally think that, what do we have, 35?
37.5.
What was the history on that, Bill? Going back,
Last year, in 2022, I believe it was 30,000 and I'll go, yeah, it was 30,000. And let me take a look. So 21, the budget was 30,000. 2020 was 0, 2019 was 75, 2018 was 139. I like that number. 17 was 135. Wow, it used to be, we used to have wow, I'm surprised it was that high even.
it was
Yeah.
up there. And again, adjustments were made in the budget to,
Did that have to do with the sale of the buses?
contingency.
Didn't we put that into contingency as a holding?
I know we put it into an account. I don't remember where.
So if we've had that much of an influx in that account, how much we use this year?
So far, we've used about, was it 14, Amy, for the dump permit?
Correct.
That's interesting. I would be willing to reduce that line, actually.
The
And it's not gonna
contingency
make
line?
a significant amount, unless
But-
you have something earmarked that we would need contingency for.
Well,
Well,
we
isn't-
had the emergency with the lights. That's gonna be a $12,000 bill. that's the board will have to decide where that comes from, but that was a no negotiation. We had to get those lights down.
I
That's
mean,
what-
we used all of contingency with the EMS situation, didn't we?
Yeah, that would have been transferred. So we used it all last year too. And I don't want to sound like a broken record, guys, but if we budget benefits as tightly as we did,
Mhm.
the excess that has historically been in that benefits line, I think should appropriately be in contingency, and I can see where historically it looks like we used a lot of well, you guys would know better than me, but it sounds like that benefits line has really been the contingency line in the past.
It comes down to using, some of the unknowns that come up that we don't budget for to take it out of contingency, which means it's budgeted right at the beginning of the year, X number of dollars, or we end up taking it out of fund balance,
Exactly.
and I think I'd rather have the contingency there and utilize that first before I go to fund balance.
Mhm. I think that's what Bill has been saying too.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be almost tempted to knock it back up to 50,000 from the 37.5.
And I was leaning towards 50 or 75.
And we've had it up that high before.
Right.
And I was thinking 30 or 25.
But I definitely get it back up to 50. You try and go with, what you can. You don't know what's going to come up.
It's not going to impact what we're proposing if we increase it a little bit or decrease it a little bit. So, Bill, what is your thought on what?
Why don't we pose it to the Board of Finance and just, I hate to keep throwing things in their court.
Well,
No, at this point, we either I've got no problem going to 50 or even to 75. We had a decent contingency in the past in order not to go to the fund balance,
Mhm.
because it was factored into the budget for those unknown situations that come
So-
up.
Bill, what would you, if you were to advise us? Because
Yeah,
that's your role, that's your job.
I'm on the higher side, 50 or 75, especially looking at the history that we see here. And then at least we could have the conversation with the Board of Finance to say that we did take a hard look at the benefits,
Yep.
and once again remind them that historical flexibility, if you will, is no longer in that line, and really should live here.
Well, and it also forces, if there is a need, that we do have to go to the Board of Finance and make them aware.
Right, which is pretty valuable.
Yeah. I mean, my thought is Suzanne was thinking 25. Ken was thinking 50, and I was kind of leaning towards 75, so we could meet in the middle and go with Ken's number. It's really at the discretion of the Board of Finance. They're the ones that are going
it really
to
is.
be, they're going to be the ones that are going to be allocating out of that.
And again, even kicking it up to 75,000 is not going to make a major impact on this budget.
That's what I was saying.
So, if Bill goes back to the older budget books,
Mhm.
going back to 13, from 10 on up, you're going to see a very, $75, $100,000 contingency fund.
Right. Well, would you
Yeah,
say that contingency, similar to when you're doing a construction project and you figure in contingency, should be a certain percentage of the budget? Any thoughts on that? In a perfect world, in
Well,
a
I think
perfect
this is
world.
a different kind of budget than that, though. I mean, you're anticipating that you're going to have change orders when you're working on a construction project.
I'm just saying in a perfect world.
So I don't know if this informs the conversation at all either, but even on the Board of Ed side this year, when we did the same approach on benefits, we took a piece of what we saved there and we actually established a contingency fund on the Board of Ed side. It's 30-something thousand bucks if I remember right. Just because, I mean, I could, especially if Bill Birch were here, you could rattle off, we just had a heating element blow again. This weekend. Or this week rather. So it's kind of endless, but Ken, to your point on the contingency going back to 2010, it was at 25, it went up to 35 in 2012. It increased to 70,000 in 2015, 75 in 16. Then the 136, 139, and then started to go down in 19. It was at 75,000. And now we're at 37 and change.
Here's a question, Bill. If you can go back into that, does it show like when it was $100,000? Does it say how much was actually utilized?
In 18, so when the balances were large, so in 16, they almost used all of it. It was 75,000, they used 73.
Okay,
In 17, it was 135. It looks like they only used 25.
okay,
In 18, they used 20 out of the 138. But in 19, it was 75 and they used 63,000. 17 was 25, 19. Yeah, okay, let me see. In 2020, they almost used the whole thing. It was 75,000 they transferred 75,000 in, and they ended up using 72 of it. So it's, by nature, by definition, right? You're trying to put some money out there for unknowns. So I guess it makes sense that it's all over the place.
yep.
Well, if you double what we had in contingency, that puts it at what, 75,000?
Yeah, right. It would be around 75. Yep.
So if we put it in and we don't use it, it just goes back. If we
Right.
put it in and we use it because something catastrophic comes up, then it's there. But if we don't add to it, if we put it in, the Board of Finance could cut it. I mean, there's a lot of variables, but I think in a sense, we could raise it to like 50,000, and if the Board of Finance chooses, they could reduce it to 37.5. I mean, they could look at that 37.5 and reduce it to 25.
If I remember right,
You know, it's,
I'm sorry, Suzanne.
no, go ahead.
If I remember right, last year, and you might recall, I think it was the original budget request. It was flat at 30, and then there was some savings that popped up in the discussions in a department. I can't remember which one it was.
It was EDC.
Okay, so that's what it was, right? So rather than taking
Oh.
that, they said, well, why don't we? Yes, that's what it was. They said, put it in contingency. So if what Tira was thinking might happens, she could go to them and get the money.
Right,
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
that's what it was. So what's your pleasure? Let's just pick a number and go with it.
Yeah, and I think we have to remember that we're doing this because Bill has tightened up what potentially looks that like over the years, that insurance, the health insurance line was sort of a safety net. And we've tightened that up and the numbers are right down to the wire. And you get, like you said, if you get one person that switches to family or that's $30,000 that we won't have budgeted. So.
Yeah, that's the same thing there, that, we're talking about the highway garage and the maintenance that needs to be there. The wood stove is, the outdoor burner is in need of replacement in the future. Any of those repairs just on the heating system down there is
Mhm.
gonna cost us some money. We have a lot of potential for needing that contingency without a problem.
So I would say increase contingency to the 75.
I'll go with it. You know, if we could, and let them make a judgment between going there, but it's very easy to, over the last couple of years, to point out how many times we've gone back to them, you know, for funding. If it was there in contingency, we wouldn't have to take it out of fund balance.
So that's, just because we put it in doesn't mean it's gonna stay in. So
Right.
for the sake of unity, I'll agree to that.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate that.
I
At
think
least
that really puts Bill's mind at ease.
if
Well, if I'd known that from the beginning, I would have suggested it.
if nothing else, we can at least, it'll prompt the conversation with the Board of Finance.
Right. So another topic that we kind of tabled last night was the CCM membership dues. So I did poll some of the department heads who potentially have used CCM. And I'll just share your thoughts. I'll share their thoughts with you. Let me just find. So the first was our HR director. I asked them to rank it 1 to 10. Some of them did, some of them didn't, but Michelle thought it was an 8. She said it's valuable for comparisons on salary. And even though I didn't feel the whole conference, the CCM conference was good, the 2 seminars I went to were. She suggested that she could track how many times we use it in the coming year, and we could take a look at its value for next year. So that was Michelle. Tira said, in the past, I attended a lot of their trainings, but did not start up again post-COVID, which was my thought. After COVID, everything seemed to kind of fall by the wayside, and nothing's really come back from that. Having said that, because land use commissioners now have educational requirements, 4 hours per year, on certain topics, it is probably worthwhile to pay for the membership so they can access those courses at no additional charge. So that was Tira. Renee said, I think they are a valuable resource if we take advantage of it. I personally haven't used it much, but I know Orla and Tira used to go to the conferences. I'd say she judged it as around a 6, middle of the road, as far as value. I did not hear back from Marie, but Paul said he rated it out of 3. He said, I like the training they provide, but I think their policies and focus are not the town of Thompson or Windham County. But my time in Thompson, with my time in Thompson, I haven't used any of the CCM services.
So it sounds like if we're only using it for the most part, we're not using it a lot and we're only using it on occasion for a training and to compare salaries, that we could probably pay for training and still save money.
Yep. Potentially. The only time I've ever used it or I've seen it used is for comparing salaries. And even then, the lists that you get aren't entirely fantastic. So it's not
Yeah,
like
if it were,
it's not
I
like
mean,
they can give you always the towns that are in your demographic or your size town. It's usually a mix of all of them.
I would suggest that we try a year without subscribing to them and see if we actually, I mean, it may be an organization that's not geared so much for our northeastern town. And I tend to agree with Paul that their agenda may not be the same as what we would benefit from.
Right.
And we should maybe just withdraw for a year. That's my recommendation, but that's my suggestion. So I'm gonna suggest we remove that.
I'm going to agree with you. I know Ken's not going to agree with that.
No, I'm not.
I know.
Because I do see benefit in it.
I feel for one year we can give it a shot, and if it just because we've always done it, I've always said just because it's something we've always done doesn't mean it's necessarily the best service.
I mean, we used to get our insurance through CCM.
I remember that, but we're not
Yes.
anymore.
And it
that
comes
was a
down,
benefit.
yes, it was. And that has to come with numbers and stuff when they put that all together. If like I said, I think there's benefit to it if we use it appropriately. To me, it's not a lot of money, for what they can provide. The other option that I may throw out to you would be, if we're not a member of them, what happens, what
Wanna go
about
back to-
joining the
You wanna
small,
go back to
small
cost?
towns and cities
Right.
and rejoin them? So that way we do have a voice at the Capitol. And we get to attend those meetings at the Capitol when
Mhm.
they sponsor them, et cetera.
I wish I could remember what cost. Let me see if I can find anything.
Honestly, we haven't been a member of that organization for, I don't know how long.
It's been
And
a few years.
yeah, and I don't see where they benefit us either.
They don't, it's not a benefit if we're not utilizing.
Exactly.
And I do think Paul's correct that they might not have the pulse of this end of the state,
Exactly.
which is typical. I'm sorry, I have no idea where it is in here. I'm gonna try to find it. Give me
Trying
a
to
second.
remember the correct name for it.
Oh, it's under the Board of Selectmen.
Yes.
There it is. I say let's take a hiatus for the year.
I agree.
I agree, and you know what? That's gonna make them, they'll.
They
it'll
won't,
get
they
their
won't
att- it'll
even
get
notice
their
we're gone.
attention. It'll get their
They won't
attention.
even notice we're gone, Amy.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay. Well,
But
if they don't notice we're gone, then we're not that important to them.
that's right.
It's called cost.
Right.
I had to stop and I had to look it up on the computer.
We'll give it a hiatus for this year. And we can go back next year if we miss it terribly.
Amy, did we discuss this, that NECOG has gone up 45%? Did we
It's
discuss why?
It's 0.45.
0.45, my apologies.
Is
So
that okay?
barely.
That amount's okay, right? That was just based on, in fact, I don't think their per capita had changed. I think it was the population might have changed.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in favor of taking CCM out.
All right. I'm sorry, Ken, it's 2-1. I
But-
was on the
but
fence.
we
I
can
was really
revisit
on
it
the
next
fence.
year.
What's that?
We can revisit it next year if we find out we're missing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Amy, do you want to drop a note in that line to revisit in 2024?
Yep.
Just so we don't forget. Thank you.
Yes.
All right,
absolutely.
just as an FYI, to join cost, it would cost us about $1,900.
Okay. All right.
All right, so where do we go from here?
So I think unless there was something else that we needed to revisit, the last item on the agenda, or not on the agenda, I'm sorry, the last item we need to talk about is in salaries. I had Bill put together an analysis of where we might be. He did include every single salary line item, including the selectmen. So we can make adjustments if, you know, to that. So currently, the union contract states 2.25%. Total increase in dollars would be $52,000. That's a given. Here's some other scenarios. So I realized there's a union contract, but Joe had brought up to our attention that he would like to increase their salaries, the salaries of at least of his union employees, which means all union employees. He'd like to give them a bigger increase. They work hard. It's a show of good faith. It'd be good for boosting morale. We know that everybody's facing extreme inflation. And in the last 2 years, they've received 1.75%. So I know they feel sometimes forgotten.
So Amy,
Yep.
everybody works hard at their jobs. I don't look at it as they work super hard and they need to be acknowledged above anybody else, because I think everybody in the town hall puts in 110% and works really hard. Everybody at the library does their job and works
All
hard.
right, and
And
I
think,
meant all the town.
everybody in
All right.
town holds them
Yeah,
accountable.
But
I've
I
got to
meant
step
all the
away for a
town.
second.
Oh,
But I think with the
I'll be right
inflation,
back.
okay.
I think it's more about the inflation, and the cost of living has gone up so dramatically. The cost of fuel, the cost of oil, the cost of gas, it's not coming down anytime soon either.
Right.
The
well,
minimum wage has been raised in this state. There's a million reasons. I agree with you wholeheartedly. They received 1.75 last year. That was not, I mean, that was what they agreed upon. I get that, but I don't think anybody anticipated this increase in inflation.
Right.
So I would like,
And
I wondered,
And I do want to say, I meant all of the town employees, but Joe had particularly brought up his guys.
right. And when we talk all across that 52 with 2.25, is that including library?
Yes.
Okay, because when we make a change, I'm thinking that we're making it across the board. Non-union, union,
Right. Yes.
okay. Do we have any numbers on what it would look like if we went to a 4%?
Yep. It's right here on the screen. Can you see
Oh,
this?
where?
Is it,
no.
it's on the spreadsheet? Can you see it?
No,
Oh,
no,
what do you still see? Do you see ClearGov?
yep.
Oh, okay. Hold on. I didn't realize you weren't seeing what I had brought up. Sorry about that. Okay, there we go. How's that?
There it is.
Oh, all right, that's
Okay.
perfect.
Thank you. Sorry about that. I thought I could just switch the windows, and clearly I couldn't. So these are the different amounts that Bill calculated for me.
So Amy, you want me to go through that same little brief explanation?
Oh, do you want me to go back to this? Well, you have the salary
no, you-
increase detail.
Yeah, you can stop, you can stay on this, on the summary for now.
Okay. Go for it.
So right now, I had gone into Munis and I had gone line by line and grabbed all the salary lines. That's the total in cell B9, that 2,352,000. That's the 2023 budgeted salaries. The columns to the right show you what that number would be at 4, 3.5, 3, and 2.25%. The next row 11 shows you the total dollar increase at each level over the 2023 budget. And then row 13 shows you the incremental costs. So to go from last year to 2.25 is 52, almost 53,000. But then to move from 2.25 to 3, it costs you another 17,644. and then another 763. So it gives you a look at, I'm pretty confident that catches everything. I pulled it together pretty quickly, but the next tab that Amy was going to go to shows you all the lines that I pulled. So you can see the selectmen are in there, I'm in there, everybody, all the salaried employees are in there. And that third tab is just the whole budget. You don't have to go to that one. It's the whole budget, but so this tab, the salary increase detail tab, is a subset of the total budget. And you see the town clerk, you see, I'm pretty sure that's complete. So but I just wanted you guys to know the method that I used.
So inflation is at 8.5, and that doesn't include what, fuel and oil, and food?
Yeah, you can, you can look for inflation numbers all over the place, but 8.5 I've seen over and over again. I've seen 6.5. It kind of depends where you're looking and what they include, but it's well north of any of these proposed increases. Through year to date right now, through January, I think it was at 6.4. But obviously that's pretty early for the year.
I do have one other, or I don't know. I don't know what to say on this one. Thoughts?
I'm not in favor of reopening the contract unless we positively have to.
Well, we don't have to reopen the contract. It's just not an addendum, but a memorandum of understanding.
Bill,
I gotta step away for a quick second to let the dog in.
Okay.
Bill, how did the school feel about this subject? Was it brought up to them by any chance?
It was not.
Why, what brought up to them, Ken?
The inflation and what they're paying their people,
No,
etc.
they stuck with the when I did a similar analysis on the school side, we went for each employee and we looked at where they landed in their given contract, because there's 5 or 6 contracts up there, if I remember right.
Out of the 5 contracts, what was the average raise in the last 2 years?
I'm sorry, Amy, I don't have that,
Whenever
but it
she
was,
says.
it was probably between 2 and 3%. I think a lot of them were right around 2.5.
Okay. I'm gonna just text Michelle quickly.
What was the question?
No,
The
what are
school.
we looking at in fringe
Oh.
benefits just going up per employee?
So we have budgeted at 12%, Ken. Because the last estimate we got was 10, and last year their estimate was 8 and it came in at 10. So both sides decided to be super conservative.
So we're looking at 12%. And that's on fringe benefits.
Yes.
Now, that includes your healthcare, your dental, etc.
Yep. And life.
And life. And what did we have last year for an increase?
On benefits, it came in, we budgeted 8 and it came in at 10.
Have we gone insurance shopping lately? Have we gone out to bid on that or looked at have comparisons done?
I don't think we have. I wasn't the change relatively
I don't
Change-
remember.
Change was 2
Recent.
years ago, I think.
Yeah, I don't think it was all that long ago.
Right. And I mean, that's insurance shopping for healthcare is can be sticky because people get used to
I agree.
Yeah,
what
but until we
benefits
get-
they have and which doctors they go to and
But I think it's important to kind of look every year. Personally,
Uh,
I don't know. Maybe not every year, but
well,
I
under
know.
under the state partnership plan, they have to meet certain health requirements, meaning they have to have all of their usual routine maintenance, so to speak, up to date. And because they do that, it puts them in it costs us less for this insurance. Did I explain that right? I don't
I
even,
understand what you're saying, and I don't like that form of
The,
government.
when did we join the state plan?
I thought it was 2021, fiscal year 22. So this would be our
So
second
this would be
year.
our third year.
This coming into 24 would be our third year, I believe, yes.
Now, I thought there was a minimum that we had to stay in it once we entered it. Minimum of years.
Yeah. I would think, but I don't have that answer, Ken.
Yeah, for some reason, I thought it was between 3 and 5 years before we could opt out.
That might be.
But I remember that was one of the sticking points going back when we talked with, HG Seeger, et cetera, when we were discussing that back in the day. And of course, the biggest pool is the school, and, we always tag along with, that because it's our biggest buying power.
Right.
Bill, is there anything about the municipal retirement as far as percentages, et cetera? Has that been talked about going up?
I
That
don't,
the town contributes?
yeah, I haven't heard anything about that going up, but I can look into that, Ken.
Because there was quite a bit of a difference between the town. I thought it was over 10, and I'm trying to remember, it was over 10% that the town was doing. And at that time, I think the employees were doing 2 or 3%. It wasn't very much. There was a big difference, and I thought they were gonna close the gap, but, they based that retirement and they assessed the towns accordingly, to keep up the growth in the pool. So I'm just, hopefully there's no increase there either. And that's controlled by the legislature. That's not controlled by, they make that determination.
Bill, I got a question for you.
Yep.
If I sat here and I made this, can I make this 3.25? Or won't
That,
let me go that? 'Cause-
that won't,
Okay,
I can do, I'll tell you what, I'll do it on my end.
okay,
The cell that you're in right there,
Yep.
was my check to make sure everything was recalcing at the percentages that you wanted.
oh, okay, oh, yeah, I see.
I mean,
Um,
we could come back to this as a final to figure out if we want a little bit of time to think about it.
Well, I think this is, well, almost where we end.
Didn't we have some starred things yesterday that we said we could come back to, we could talk about, we could,
I thought we covered it.
I thought we covered all of it. That was the CCM.
I thought there was one more thing we said.
I
Oh,
had
let's,
The animal control, I was gonna try to get some reports from Jan, but I haven't gotten that yet.
okay. That might have been it. There is one more thing that we haven't discussed that I wanted to.
Yep.
Which is the resident trooper.
Yes,
I have that number for you, Amy.
okay,
So
Ready.
at 3.25, it would be 2,428,900 984.
Okay, so total increase,
Would be 76,457.
okay, let's table this for now. We can come back.
Do we have a history of the increases that we've given? I know Bill mentioned a couple like 1.75, and before that, I think it was 2.25. There was one year, I think we did not even give an increase.
Right, there was, so it was 1.75, then it was 0. The year before that, it was 2%. I'm not positive of the year before that. Because that was before my time,
Okay.
at least sitting in the seat of first selectman. So. So resident trooper. I think there's a decent size of the population that's interested, more than interested. If I get lots and lots of calls.
Did we ever come up with a dollar figure?
Maximum, there's no, you can't completely pinpoint the number because it's going to depend on the step, the level that the trooper is in. But maximum, they guessed at 280,000. Was that the number, Bill?
Yes,
That's 280 for 40 hours a week.
Correct. Entirely situated.
Maximum, what was
during-
the minimum?
I feel like it was 220, 200,000.
I think it was 220.
Yeah.
So I vision a resident trooper. I do support the resident trooper in this town. Someone that answers to the first selectman, someone that could oversee the security at the school. I
Mhm.
think it's important to have a state trooper oversee that. I think as the need arises for the security at school, if we're not going to do armed, then we should at least have a state trooper overseeing that program. I do support that. It's the cost associated that hurts.
It does, but it's where we're at right now. I think the other benefit to having a trooper, which we've discussed in meetings, is that it would bring continuity up to the school because they do get frequent visits from Troop D, from what I understand. And it's
I think there's
usually
a,
different trooper every single time.
I think there's a million reasons why we need it.
Right.
I totally agree. It benefits the town. It benefits the safety, the security that people feel in their own town. And I just think that we're driven to this point of having some sort of law enforcement representation. I just
So-
don't know how we budget it.
So this, well, I mean, I feel like we put it in, it can become a bigger discussion with the Board of Finance. Additionally, we worked on, Melinda and I worked on that survey, and one of the questions is in fact whether or not there's an interest in a resident trooper. So the idea of that survey is to really get it out to as many individuals as possible. And
Well,
getting
that-
as much input, not just from the people that attend meetings all the time, but from the general public.
I know 2 years ago, we had people approach us and ask us
Mhm.
what our thoughts were about having a resident trooper.
Right.
I know that when we talked about putting up the safety building, that was one of the thoughts, is that would be a space for a resident trooper.
Mhm.
Are we at that point
To add one?
to add one? Apparently one of my dogs thinks we are.
I think it should be up for the people to decide, and what better way than to have it in the budget and have people come out and speak about it.
We had it put in back in, what was it, the 90s when it started? Because Barney was the first one
Mm.
way back in the day. And the people were the one that spoke about taking it away because of the cost. So,
I agree.
the people should be making the decision.
I agree. Times have changed though, as far as back in the 90s.
Mhm.
And I think we have a different population that might feel differently about it. And when you say putting it out to the people, is that putting it in the budget, and letting them decide?
Yeah, you put it in the budget. There is benefits, just the benefits alone, just going over Buckley Hill Road with
Right.
the over 5-ton vehicles.
Mhm.
Doing some more traffic control on some of our roads that I know the calls that I got. I'm sure Amy's getting the same ones.
Right.
They're driving too fast. They're doing this. They're doing that.
To have a dedicated officer in town would be.
So are
big.
you saying, Ken, that you agree with putting it in the budget?
At the moment, I'd put it in the budget because it can always be taken out of the budget.
Correct.
And you do have that survey that's going out to see what kind of response we have.
Yep.
I feel better that we're all on board with this.
I do too. I'm excited.
I mean, what hurt in the past was management of the trooper.
Mhm.
If the trooper can be managed where it benefits the town, then it's a win.
Right. All right.
And what dollar amount do you think has to be put in?
I think we have to do the highest amount. Because we don't know what step,
You can't put a price on safety.
right?
I
And
mean, we cannot afford our own police force.
No.
It ain't gonna happen.
Right.
No, we definitely can't afford our own police force.
And the only way that it could be possibly managed, and state statute, et cetera, would have to be changed where, you merge with Putnam. And they cover. They've got an established force. They're paying for the extra officers to be on the payroll to cover.
Mhm.
And state has not elected to do that.
And I don't know that there'd be any financial benefit to the town if we did that. And we lose control. So
The police force is a police force.
I think that adding it to this budget is probably the right thing to do. But
It starts the
And like-
conversation again. It keeps the conversation going. And if the Board of Finance decides there's not an appetite for it, but we've put it forward as something that's important, and it is very important, because I hear it from residents, just like Ken hears it.
Yep, we've
Yeah.
all heard it. We've been at Board of Selectmen meetings, we've been at other meetings where this has been a topic. And I think that we owe it to the individuals that have come forward and stated that they feel we need some sort of protection in this town, or safety or security measures, to put it in this budget. And
It's
Do
the
it.
only option that we have.
Right.
yes,
There is
Right.
no other option, is a resident trooper.
Is that the number we want? I don't think we can go lower than that.
where did you get 280 from, Amy?
That was from, Lieutenant, from Troop D. His name is escaping me.
And that's the high end
That's the high end cost.
Why don't, I would.
But you
suggest-
know what, though? It's a process to get them hired.
Yeah,
It might be 6 months.
yeah, I would go a straight 200 and assume it's gonna be a couple of months and maybe we would get a low end. And also we did increase contingency if we had to.
Ken, what do you think of that number?
I'd go with the number that you were given.
But it
That
is
That
a
would be for 12
process.
months though.
Meet in the middle,
Could do that.
You're
240.
looking at 6 months. But with the way our budget goes, doesn't go by the fiscal year,
Right. Well,
you know,
so
January.
it passes in July and it'll take at least, they're saying 3 to 4 months to go through the vetting process.
So let's look at
So do 240.
280 divided by 12
12.
months times by 8 months, be about 186.
Oh, well, we don't want that.
That's why I said 200.
What if you made it do the 3 months? What was it by 9 months?
Well, 280 divided by 12 times, what'd you say, 9 months?
Yeah.
About 210.
I feel like we should be middle of the road, though. How about,
I'm fine with whatever we put in. It's a guessing game. It's getting a crystal ball out. As
right,
long as we're putting in enough for, 8 or 9 months, I'm fine with whatever dollar amount that factors out to be. That would be what, 10 months of, step and availability.
what's that, and availability?
Yeah, and ability to, or availability. Yeah,
All right. All right. So that kind of puts us back to salaries. I do want to have a conversation with both of you about an individual in the town hall that I think really is deserving of a pay increase, a slightly larger pay increase. Also, number one, it's such an employee's market right now. And so I'm talking about our assessor, Paul Hopkins. He's truly proven himself more than a valuable asset in this role. He has completely whipped that office into shape. He works tirelessly. I know everybody does, but I really can't say enough that he has taken that department to another level. And
how much has he saved the town?
it's not so much of what he saved the town. Well, he has saved with soon to be for the revaluation. That's going to be approximately $60,000 or $70,000.
That's what it's gonna cost us, or that is what it's
That's
been-
what's gonna save us from when
Save us.
we used to contract with Nikon.
Right,
He keeps,
Along those lines, Amy, didn't Paul not long ago do a project where he was focusing on automobiles that were not
Mhm.
properly listed in town? And I know, I feel like he's done a number of kind of projects like that that have been increasing revenue on that front, but I don't have any numbers around what that generated.
Well, it's hard to
Just another
tell,
thought.
but I mean, the grand list goes up year after year. Some of it is because of new builds, some of it is because of the work that he's done. To pinpoint specifics on what he's accomplished is difficult, but what we do know is that, case in point, Norman Hill Road. Those residents actually have a Woodstock address, and he was able to pinpoint that some of them live in Thompson, have a Woodstock address, and were paying car taxes in Woodstock. He sent them a letter, and
I
since
remember.
then, their cars are now taxed in Thompson. He searches through listings on Zillow for Thompson and compares property cards to what's advertised on Zillow. He's just always looking to make sure that taxes are implemented fairly. That if you added an addition to your home, you added in a second bathroom and it's not on the property card, well, it should be on the property card. Because his belief is that taxes should be fair. And I'm not asking for a lot for him, but just,
Can you go to his salary, please?
yep. The average, and case in point, yes, I did use CCM for this, but the average across the state is $103,000. We can't lose our assessor. It is such a valuable role, and I would like to see his salary at $90,000.
What percentage of an increase is that? Is that like 8%?
I'm figuring it out.
I'll be right back.
It's about 7.5%.
That's what I was just gonna say. I was waiting for Suzanne to come back. Thank you, Bill.
Is there any towns looking for an assessor?
Well, we know Putnam was, I haven't actually looked. It was my understanding that the assessor market is pretty, sort of like the building official is pretty. The number of actual applicants is pretty slim.
Actually, the building official is better than the assessors right now.
Yeah. I mean, as far as the market or
The availability.
the availability.
Yeah, because there's been a few guys that have taken the course and gotten certified for taxes for a building official.
Mm-hmm.
One of them's from East Thompson.
Oh, you're talking about, did he complete it though? That's John Noley.
No, I'm talking Feige.
Oh, okay. Somebody else. Interesting.
Yeah, I think is he the Woodstock one right now, I believe?
Oh, maybe he is.
Yes,
Yeah.
he is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just jumped online real quick, guys, and the Connecticut Association of Assessing Officers. It's fair to say there are quite a few current job openings in the assessing world. Franklin, Bloomfield, Prospect, Wallingford, Bridgeport, Torrington, Simsbury, Vernon, Hartford.
I have no problem increasing Paul's salary to 90,000 because I think he has, well, he's certainly proven himself to be competent and capable of maintaining that office, but he is also saving the town money and bringing in more revenue.
Right.
Oh, hold on, I gotta take care of these darn dogs.
I know we can't go through another search for an assessor.
Right.
We have-
I did
it's
go
gonna-
through, I did evaluate, I did a full evaluation with Paul and sat down and talked about where he believes his strengths are, what his achievements have been over the last couple years, and what his plans are for next budget season, or this coming year, not budget season, but this coming year. And he has ambitious goals for the department. And I'm happy to share that review.
And, you know, one of the biggest things that, since he's been able to, that we have the full-time assessor versus the part-time that we had for several years, you know, just going after the, you know, out-of-state registrations and
Yes.
stuff,
Mhm.
you know, that can be a heck of a windfall of bringing in additional revenue to the town.
So Suzanne, I was saying that I did a full, I sat down with Paul and I just did a full assessment of his work so far and his achievements for the past couple of years and his plans for the upcoming year.
So let's give him the CCM money. I think that you have to, I believe in putting this in, not that I want to see this budget go up any more than it is. But I think it shows good faith. I think it shows that you appreciate him. And whether the Board of Finance decides to take it out or cut it in half or whatever, at least it sends a message to the assessor that he's doing the good job and we appreciate what he's doing.
Right. And were you on? Could you hear Bill naming off the towns that are looking for
Yes.
assessors?
Yes,
I need to keep him here.
yeah.
Can we potentially do 7.5 just to make it a percentage, or do you think just around?
What does that make? What does that bring it to?
Oh, that's not right.
I'd bring it to exactly what you were saying, bring it up to 90.
Yeah,
You see, I'm home.
well, that's in change. Do you want to just make it an even?
Or you could do 7.5, but either way.
I'll just make it the even. Thank you both. I really appreciate it. I know it might not stay in the budget, but it was important. And that leaves us with the other salaries. I feel really strongly, I would like to see at least 3.25. I don't think, I love the idea of being able to give them 4 to really, because I know inflation is just so crazy and out of control. But I'm okay if it was just 3.25. I feel
I'm
we
okay
need
with
to do
that.
more. I feel we need to do more than the 2.25. I know Ken's not gonna agree.
No, I've been on the other end where I've lived with a contract for 30 years. Whatever went through, we lived with, you know, and that's what was negotiated. They held to it. There were times that, you know, we did well. You know, the economy tanked. We still got our raise. You know, it works both ways. And it's not a knock on, you know, the guys and, you know, our staff and everything
No, of
that they
course
do.
not.
And I'm not looking at it from, you know, that avenue. uh, by any means. I just see the potential for some problems with that, where, okay, you got a contract, it really don't mean much because we'll do something, in the future, one way or the other.
Well,
Either they open it or we open it, and, we're still looking at tax, and then you look at the flip side, you look at, to the taxpayers. Oh, I didn't get that amount of raise this year, and you gotta look at all of those things.
Give you my opinion.
It's a contract and we can negotiate. When's that contract due for negotiation again?
this coming year. I feel like this is just, it's a show of good faith. It's a vote of confidence in them. It's saying that, you know what, you mean more. And as we move into negotiating the next contract, that will stand out versus,
There used to be that old mindset that this is what you negotiated for, this is what you're getting, but it's an employee's world. You can go anywhere now and make more than what you're making for the most part. And I think we have to value our employees. I would go with 3%.
3%.
Boy,
Can I get what you're saying? I totally get what you're saying, but to hire new employees, or when you can go anywhere and you can go to McDonald's and make what some of the individuals are making.
So Suzanne, you're saying 3% versus 3.25?
Yeah, can you bring that sheet up again?
Oh, yeah. Let me stop the share. Hold on. All right. 75, 76. So it's a difference of 17,000. It's an extra 17,000 over the 2.25. And that includes everybody though.
Can you bring that whole sheet up though?
Oh, which one? This
The
one?
one the spreadsheet you had?
This one? Oh, you can't see it. I'm not sharing it yet. What a dummy. Sorry. I'm looking at it and I'm talking to you like you can see it. Sorry about that. Okay. Now you can see it. Let me go back to the summary. Okay, here we go. This is it. 70,576. Difference is 17,644 over what the 2.25 would be.
Yep, I would do the 3%.
All right. 3%. Board of Finance can always take it out. I'll put notes. We'll put notes and we'll specify. Does that work?
That works for me. Does that work for you?
I know it doesn't work for Ken. I'm sorry, Ken.
Like I said, I'm looking at it from a contractual view.
I know. I understand.
Having been in state government for 20, and so forth, and I don't disagree that every one of our people are worth their weight, believe
Right.
me.
Absolutely. I know you feel that way.
Yeah, no, because we have great staff, we have great people. And I'm just looking at it for what was negotiated. There's times that they win, there's times that we hold the line, and it's that balance that goes back and forth.
How do we feel about our salaries? Shall we leave them at 0? We know they got
I don't
taken
think-
out last year.
Oh, yeah. Should we do the 3%
Should-
increase? No. Oh,
What do you think, Suzanne? Oh, wait. Here I am. I'm not showing the screen again. Hold on. I'm sitting here working away. Okay. I mean, 3% of 4,000 isn't, I'm in favor of doing something for your line item. I'd keep mine blank. It's $120.
yeah. No, I don't. I wasn't thinking that 3% would be for second selectman or first, or
Okay.
were you, Ken? We don't normally.
No, I didn't.
No, we don't usually.
I was always under the opinion that anything to do with the selectmen themselves should be left up to the Board of Finance.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that too. I think at some point they have to raise our stipend, but I don't think that it's our place to put it in.
Just give me a minute or two while I make some of these adjustments. I think it'll be tricky when we get to the library because that's going to be a little different, I think. But
When it comes to the library, I'd let the library go just the way they proposed it.
right, because they're kind of their own island, correct?
Well, they've gone above whatever contractual was in the past.
On some of
make-
them, but not all of them.
No, but to make adjustments accordingly. And they've always fluctuated. And I know that our library board puts a lot of thought into it.
Right.
So usually they're very fair and in line with what the trend is.
Hey, Bill, do you know on Paula's salary? What am I putting in for that? How am I doing that? Is that staying across through the next year?
I was hoping that we would apply the rate to her this year.
Should I add it to, so if I did this and made it 24.88, that would work
That,
or not?
oh, because, yeah, we're comparing to the budget
Yeah,
for 2023.
exactly. Can you figure out quickly what this number?
Well, you can't control that percentage. You know, whatever her salary is and whatever the increase is gonna be, you would add on.
I think you would just up it by the 3.
Yeah,
You want to work that out after?
well, we want to leave with a specific number, correct? To go to the Board of Finance?
Well, we're not going to have an exact number, right?
Well, I think we will. Why wouldn't we?
I thought there was still
What do we
not
need?
an EMS number that wasn't accurate.
I don't know.
Well,
What did
that'd be the same thing with any of the fringe benefits. Those can change, the insurance can
true.
change. Fire
True.
department, we have some numbers that are in flux in the Board of Finance, and you sitting on it yourself, you know, Suzanne, for 6 years, you know how we always dealt with that at the time. You guys knew that these numbers were volatile, and we were hoping to get them down.
I see what you're asking, Suzanne, and you are right. But we have to present the budget as it stands to the public on Thursday.
Okay. Because
That-
I thought you weren't concrete on the number that you were putting in. You were waiting to hear back from or something. I don't know.
Well, you're right. We are with that and with insurance.
Yes, insurance, that I get.
But
No,
it
no,
may- but
that
it
I
may
totally
not-
get.
But it may not come in before Thursday. So those
Okay.
are adjustments that we'll
So
have.
you want to
make
go with the
before-
number that we put in there?
Yes, I
Okay.
do for now.
Okay.
And if it reduces, then it's a bonus. That's my.
Gotcha.
And these are salaries across the board, right? Even though there's a 7% here that Erica had proposed.
Yeah, no, I think that's what we always do is go across the board and the individual directors or chairman of each board put in their projection and then not chairman of the board, but you know what I mean?
Right,
Well, the Board of Assessment Appeal, that's a stipend,
correct.
Yeah,
and
But
she
they
raised
always,
them.
but they always get the 3% or 2%.
or whatever the
did.
percentage is.
Whatever we've done in the past, and I would stay with it.
Yeah. Right, okay,
That line was included in the analysis. I'm
you were
still
double
trying to,
checking?
yeah, I'm just trying to poke holes in my analysis.
No, that's okay. So for the registrars though, Frank and Eileen figure a certain amount, so that should just stay for the election workers, correct?
Right.
Okay. Town clerk. Nope, there's nothing there. Nothing in fire. Oh wait, there is something here. Sorry.
There is.
Yeah, there's a burn official, but I gotta see how that's calculated. The burn official annual wage for the burn
Oh.
official. Nothing in emergency management, canine operation. Well, Jan already had her increase, so I'm not putting anything else in that.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Okay. Public Works. What do we think about Joe? Joe just took over this year and should we just make this 3? He just took over, but the salary was an increase from the prior person.
Some companies will look at that as no increase until he's been in the position 1 year.
Right, that's what I was leaning towards.
That's how I would look at that.
Okay. Ken, do you agree? For Joe?
I agree with it partially.
Mm-hmm.
I do have thoughts, especially when it comes to winter work.
Right,
And, I'll just give you, for instance, on Sunday, he was out
yep,
checking the roads.
So put it in.
all right.
They actually,
Do you want it you're just saying make it the 3%, so it's a slightly higher.
yeah, I definitely, because I think there probably should be some compensation for winter work above and beyond, X number of hours work. A lot of the towns do it to their highway directors.
Mm-hmm. So Joe's already calculated in some extra money for overtime and double time, so I'm just gonna leave that as it is. Unless Bill, Suzanne, or Ken, you think otherwise.
No, I'm
And
okay.
that's a pocket of money for overtime.
Right.
Yeah.
It should be fine, right? Okay,
Yep.
Yeah.
all right, just
And
want
if
we
we
usually
happen
have-
to go over it, that's where transfers come at the end of the year.
okay. Just making sure. Same thing with the salaries for the summer help.
Yeah, that's
That's a dollar amount,
Correct,
correct.
not an increase.
right. Oh, this one's tough. 0.25. Oops. Did we scrutinize this enough? There was, an overtime line item. This, we gotta go back and look at this, Ken and Suzanne, for the building official, not so much their salaries. But Donna exhausted her overtime just as half the year was completing. And then we also added in potential for an assistant building official. We never discussed this and we should have.
Did we discuss this department?
We did. Terry gave a presentation.
Yes, but we didn't discuss it yesterday, did we?
I think we
No.
skipped over the salaries.
The salaries, okay.
So last year we had $5,000 put aside for overtime. That was expended, I think, by the end of January this year. Ideally, there's an individual in town that's been volunteering. He's going for his building official license. I'd like to put him in the position, and Terry and I discussed it, to assist that department and assist Terry with getting some of the workload accomplished. So that was.
Would you be able to take out the overtime if that were the case?
I feel like we could.
Then I mean, I would suggest we take it out. We added 15,000 for an assistant, then we should, it just makes sense that we take out the overtime.
Ken, do you agree?
To put in for the assistant?
Right, because we know that at some point Terry's going to most likely retire. And my feeling is to have somebody in line to sort of, he's a town resident, someone that could potentially take over at some point in time.
Well, I do think that we should have something in there for when Terry's not available.
And that
For whatever
too,
no, I mean, for whatever the reason that we're covering somebody to do his job when he's not available.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, he's on vacation for 2 weeks. You gotta pay somebody to, you know, whether it's another town, I mean, you know, to come over, they just don't do it for free. even
But
though they
that's the
do.
assistant, right?
correct.
So the overtime wouldn't be necessary if we have an assistant.
Not for the building official, if you're looking at overtime for the office to cover
Well,
Donna.
But
Well-
that wasn't what it was for.
but what I see, what I see this position as, Ken, it's rewriting this department somewhat. Because right now Terry does inspections.
Yeah.
There's a part of that building official job that should be also directing and assisting Donna with some of the workload. But right now it's all falls on Donna, so she's always behind. She's never catching up in that office. So my feeling was if this assistant could also help and assist Donna.
We can put in for it.
Yeah,
I mean, God knows that the work is there.
right.
But we're taking out the overtime, is that correct?
I don't know if I want to take it out entirely. Bill, what do you think? I'm gonna pull Bill in on this one.
So I know that Donna's Donna's definitely working hard. I think, aren't there other departments or folks in other departments that are supposed to help out?
That would
that
be
hit-
from the tax office.
Does that
Right.
hit this line?
No, he just, Scott's always been the token floater.
Oh, okay,
Anytime there's a department that needs a little bit of extra assistant or someone to be there to answer the phone, he usually takes on that role.
When the
So
tax
there's no
office is
extra
small.
money.
When they were looking to reduce that position in the tax office, we kept the hours up
Right,
back in the day by saying that position was the floater when somebody needed, you know, they were out or whatever to cover.
mhm,
So there's so many hours of that floater.
right. That's figured into just his regular salary.
Yeah, but it's broken down, you know, under his job, that position's job description. I don't know if it's 7 hours a week. I don't remember that they were going around the building and doing, and in the past, Scott has, when Fridays were closed, he would help out, or, different things in the building office. He has been for the last few years.
That assistant building official line that we're adding, that doesn't help Donna at all.
Well, I think in reality it could. I think it's a matter sometimes of Donna letting go of some of the work and showing someone or allowing other people to do some of her work. That's been sort of the issue with Scott filling in, because she really only she limits what he can do. And I think this individual that we're looking at to potentially fill this position, he's partially sort of retired. He has his own business. He'd like to do this in the future. He likes to serve the town, and he's been doing it voluntarily. Do we need the full 15,000 for him? Maybe not. So if we didn't use it all on the assistant, could Donna's overtime also come out of that line item? Joe, that was my question to you.
Right, I think it could, but if we're gonna do it that way, I'd rather leave the 7 in Donna's line and cut that assistant building official down.
Yeah.
Why
I
don't we cut it down to 10?
I know the department needs help. If anything, I'd want to bring the overtime down to maybe 4,000 or 5,000. I don't want to eliminate it completely. The office needs help. It's the busiest office, and like Terry said, it's like the only office that basically covers its own
It
expenses.
pays for itself.
It pays for itself with permit fees, etc.
Why don't you leave it as is then? I mean, we could take some out of the overtime, we could take some out of the assistant building official, but who's to say that the Board of Finance won't take even more out?
Right. This department this is my next project. This department needs help. And this is a start by getting an assistant to not only assist Terry, but also assist Donna, and we'll see how it goes. So.
I mean, that's right in line exactly with what happened with the CEO.
Right.
There's never enough hours to complete the work that is needed to be done based on the work that's there.
Right.
And we're in a building boom. We're still feeling the effects of that. And that's gonna be happening for a while.
Yep. So library administration, here are the numbers that we're looking at. As you can see, some of them are only 2.23. In the past, they also receive whatever the town hall staff receive.
And I think Allison said she put in the 2.25 because that was what was. the
Correct,
union
except
contract was.
for the library clerks, which they're still trying to bring up the adjustment
Yeah.
for minimum wage.
That's a different,
So I would change them to 3. Is that okay?
I would. too.
I would definitely let Allison and the board know.
Yeah, and if they want me to switch it back, I could.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's the only thing that we've changed is
It honestly looks like, even though she put in a dollar amount, that she meant to put in the 2.25 for everybody but the library clerks.
We have the ability to change the library budget if we choose to, and I know in the past, selectmen have done that. If for some reason Allison does not think that 3% is appropriate, then she'll let us know, but she'll also let the Board of Finance know.
Right. Sorry, guys, I'm coming to the end of all of this. Oh, that was another question that you guys had for me last night. So Amanda's change in salary. is based upon, or her salary is based upon the current year's earnings. With the union contract, she will also go up. That was a question that you guys had for me.
What position is that?
That was for the, remember the recreation assistant, the assistant to the director?
Right, okay. I gotta take care of a dog. I'll be back.
Yep. That's okay. I'm still just changing salary lines. Right, I think this is the last one. All right, that was everything. That puts us up 1,451,188. That's a mill rate of 1.88.
To be adjusted.
Of course. Well, you know, we put every single capital
It's all-
project in. So,
Yes, and and they will pick and choose or prorate it out or whatever, defer it, whatever you want to call it, at their discretion.
right. Let me just, I'm gonna take out the information for the school for now. Because the only thing we're sending to the Board of Finance is our budget, so let me just. So our budget would be 10,146,763. Up from last year, which was, wait, nope,
8,000,009 or something like that.
yeah, let me see, no, I think it was more than that, was it?
8,695,000.
8,695,000. Any change on that? Any change, like 695?
575.
All right. There's pockets, there's plenty of pockets that could potentially be tightened up. But I like the fact that we added 75 to contingency. So we'll just wait for Suzanne to get back.
She's back.
Oh, she is?
Yep.
I'm sorry, I've been talking away and I was muted.
What were you
Yes.
saying?
Nothing important.
So did you hear that? We're at 1.88.
Yes.
So anything anybody wants to review?
Nothing that I can think of.
I think we've gone over it. I just don't remember everything we started yesterday, but I think we went back and visited and went over it.
I will try to get those reports ASAP for you from Jan for animal control.
Well, I think it's more
Okay.
for the Board of Finance. I think you're gonna need that.
Yeah,
I
oh,
still
no,
would like to see
absolutely.
it.
Yes,
Right.
I would too. Absolutely.
So all right, so
I think we have to vote to,
we do to move this budget to pass it along to the Board of Finance. Is that usually
Right.
the motion? I'll make a motion that we propose 10 million, a town budget, including capital expenditures of $10,146,763.
I'll second it.
Okay, any discussion on this motion? All in favor of proposing $10,146,763 to the Board of Finance and the townspeople of Thompson, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Done.
Done.
Make a motion that we adjourn at 4:57 PM.
Second.
Okay, all in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.
Good night.
Good night.
Thanks, everybody.
See you Thursday.